Welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. My name is Lüning, Horst Luenings. I'm the master taster of Whisky.com, and today I have my favorite whiskies up to 45 euros. Well, that's the price here in Central Europe. It may be different in other parts of the world, but this is a selection of, well, medium to low-priced single malt whiskies from Scotland, which I like most. And if you look at these whiskies, most of them or all of them have a special kind of cask treatment, kind of maturation, and that is what I personally feel what a whiskey makes special and different if you have very, very good casks. And if you have casks in which, well, different types of fortified wines had matured. There are a lot of whiskies out there without a special cask treatment, with ex-bourbon casks used, which I like also very much, but my personal favorites always have some sherry, port wine, Madeira cask influence, and so these whiskies all belong to those. Yeah, the first one I put in front here is the Balvenie, 12 years old, and that's a finished whiskey, means it's matured in ex-bourbon casks and then finished for a second period of time in Oloroso sherry casks. And David Stewart, the master distiller of Balvenie, he invented, probably for the first time or in parallel to a different distillery, the method of finishing, so meaning refilling whiskey in a different type of cask, and so adding more complexity to the whiskey. And the Balvenie is medium priced and I think the best whiskey for an entry. So if you have to present a gift to somebody special, you should take that Balvenie into account because it's so friendly, so sipping, so dangerously sipping whiskey that the one who was presented with that whiskey, he will like it very much as well. If he likes whiskey at all, so be careful. The next one is from Glenfarclas, and Glenfarclas is a privately owned distillery by the family of Grant. And they have a typical range of 10, 12, 15, 70, 21, 25, 30, 40, 50-year-old whiskies. And in parallel to that, they have vintage whiskies, in this case, the 2007. It's approximately 12 years old, but it has some specialty over the normal range of whiskies because it shows first a higher ABV. It's 46% instead of 40 for the younger ones, and they have a stronger first fill cask influence, so they carry more sherry in their aroma and tastes. So the Glenfarclas 2007 is the one for this year, 2020, the time where I'm taking this video. But next year we will see the 2008, 2009, 2010, and so on. So all I had in the previous years with the different vintages, they were excellent at all. So this is a wonderful selection of casks done by Glenfarclas. The next one is the Isle of Arran, single malt without an age statement on it, but it's the port cask. How it's called? The port cask finish, and it shows an ABV of 50. So this one has a reserve for reducing the strength by tap water, and so you will get more out of this 0.7 liter bottle or 0.75 liter bottle by diluting it a little bit down to a more comfort taste in your mouth. And Arran was founded in 1995, so it's quite a young distillery, and they made a lot right. So they have a good cask selection, and beside the normal range of 10, 14, 16, 18, 21-year-old Arrans, they have this no age statement whiskey line with different casks, and the port wine I like most from Arran. There had been times 10, 15 years ago where the first cask came out, or the first casks from the startup came out with whiskies with a higher age statement, and they were a little bit complicated because in the beginning the distillery was underfunded and the casks weren't that good. So after some years they got the cash flow running and could afford better casks, and today they have a wonderful range of well-matured whiskey from the Isle of Arran. Very, very good. The next one is the Aberlour, 12 years old, unchill filtered. Aberlour had for years and years the 10-year-old with a decent amount of sherry cask matured whiskies in it. And then they extended their range to a 15-year-old, or in the beginning they had a 22-year, I think, to a 15-year-old Marie de Cosse. And then they changed to a 16-year-old double cask and a 12-year-old double cask, I think, or it's called double cask. Yeah, I think so. And then they brought out this 12-year-old unchill filtered. They gave it a higher ABV, 48%. And this full flavored, massive sherry character of this whiskey is outstanding. And to get things right, all of those whiskies are, from my point of view, outstanding, and I wouldn't prefer one over another. So they all are on the same level for me. They are the best up to 45 euros, which we show in our own company with a price range. Yeah, so this Aberlour is some evolution out of the old 10-year-old with a higher age, with omitting the chill filtration, adding more ABV to the whiskey. So they did everything right. The next one, the second to last, is the Glendronach whiskey, 12 years of age. And I visited the Glendronach first time in 1994, and they still had their malting flaws then. And a lot of was manual labor. And then they had to shut down due to crisis and overproduction. And then a smaller private consortium of privatiers and companies bought that distillery and brought it back to operation. And then after bringing everything well into work, they sold it after more than 15 years, I think. They sold it to a bigger company, and that bigger company keeps to the same procedures and ranges of whiskey. So it's very well done to have all those whiskies still in production. The 15-year-old Revival, the 18-year-old Allardyce, the 21-year-old Parliament. So they are extremely well done whiskies, but from the price range, they are upper priced, and the 12-year-old fits into that price and is, I think, is still below 40, not quite sure. And the specialty of that whiskey is it does not only mature in Oloroso sherry casks, but as well in Pero Jimenez sherry cask. And Pero Jimenez is the Spanish form of Peter Siemens. This has nothing to do with the electric company Siemens. It was 18th century when this Peter Siemens emigrated to Spain, to the region of Jerez. And that Pero Jimenez wine isn't completely fermented, so there's a residual sugar in it, and this Pero Jimenez is sweeter than other fortified wines from Jerez, other sherries, and this whiskey gets a lighter, sweeter note by this additional maturation in Pero Jimenez casks. The last one is the only smoky whiskey here in this range, medium smoky, not extremely smoky. And that's the reason because, well, smoky whiskey is a high demand for smoky whiskey in the world. And these smoky whiskey carry a higher price tag. So I can't have them in this range of whiskey I like most. But that one, this Talisker Port Ruighe, written Port Ruighe, something like that, Old Gaelic. This is a port cask finished Talisker. It's younger and therefore shows more smoky influences in it, has this chili or peppery catch in it, and together with the port wine maturation, this is really the whiskies I'm looking for. But as I said, all on the same level, all my favorite whiskies. That's it with my favorite whiskies. Not to forget this 12-year-old Balvenie, which I recommend as a present to a novice, to that whiskey, well, connoisseur, interior, and all of those whiskies. You may have a try for those. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned. There's more to come.